Many English learners and English speakers get confused or don't know where and how to use a semicolon correctly. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Feeda Hasan from ESL Advice. Today in this video, I'll be talking about a significant punctuation mark, semicolon. I'll talk about the proper use of semicolon, but before getting into our lesson, let's learn what a semicolon is and why we should use it. A semicolon is a vital punctuation mark that helps to enhance the quality of any piece of writing. It gives an artistic effect to whatever you write. This is a semicolon, and you can see a semicolon is a full stop on the top of a comma. So a semicolon represents a longer pause than a comma and a shorter pause than a full stop, and it makes it easier to punctuate a complex sentence. If you want to stylize your writing, you must know the proper use of semicolon. However, using it too often is never a good idea. So if you want to use a semicolon well, use it wisely. Now let's learn where and how we use a semicolon. Semicolons are used to show the link or connection between two independent clauses or sentences that are closely related. Don't get confused. Let's look at the examples to have a clear idea about the use of a semicolon. I'm going to meet my parents. Full stop. They will be very happy to see me. Now, these are two independent clauses, two independent sentences. So I can write, I'm going to meet my parents, semicolon, they will be very happy to see me. The full stop can be replaced with a semicolon because these two are independent sentences and they are related in thoughts. They share similar ideas. I am going to meet my parents and my parents will be happy to see me. Anna was playing with the dogs. Ramin was cleaning the garden. You can see the sentence before the semicolon is a complete one, and after the semicolon is also a complete sentence, and they are closely related. The word after the semicolon starts with a small letter. If the word after a semicolon is a proper noun or an acronym, we use a capital letter after a semicolon. Tina likes to play chess. Amber doesn't. Here, Amber starts with a capital letter because Amber is a proper noun. We also use a semicolon before a conjunctive adverb. Some of you are familiar with conjunctive adverbs. For example, accordingly, also, besides, consequently, finally, however, moreover, nevertheless, therefore, then, etc. are some of the conjunctive adverbs. Let's look at the examples. I always like to eat light during dinner. Semicolon, however, comma, I can never say no to biryani. The next one is, I love plumerias, semicolon, moreover, comma, they have many varieties. Here you can see we are using the semicolon before the conjunctive adverb and we are using comma after the conjunctive adverb. This is how we use semicolon when two sentences are linked by a conjunctive adverb. A semicolon is also used to separate items in an example list. It also helps to clarify complex information in lengthy sentences. Let's look at the examples. Feeda loves indoor plants that grow in water, comma, such as lucky bamboo, and pothos, semicolon, plants that survive in the dark, comma, such as philodendron peace lily, semicolon, aquatic plants, white water lily, and Indian lotus. The next one is, the players joining the match include Ramin and Anna from Bangladesh, semicolon, Lucy and Tina, India, semicolon, and Mimar and Mishtu from Australia. So these are some lengthy sentences and the reader may not understand clearly where one part ends and where the next one begins. Here, a semicolon is used to separate items in small groups so that the reader can understand it clearly. Look at the first sentence. The indoor plants that grow in water and the plants that survive in the dark, and the aquatic plants are separated by using semicolon. So a reader can easily understand which plants belong where. In the next sentence, the players from Bangladesh, India and Australia are being separated by using a semicolon. So a reader finds it easier to understand the complex listing. If you want to avoid the repeated use of complex sentences, you can use semicolon. Now let's learn where we should not use a semicolon. We should not use a semicolon between a dependent clause and an independent clause. For example, although he eats a lot, he never gets fat. Although he eats a lot is a dependent clause, and he never gets fat is an independent clause. We cannot use a semicolon between a dependent clause and an independent clause. We have to use a comma there. So you cannot use a semicolon where a comma is needed. Next, if two independent clauses include coordinating conjunctions, you should not use a semicolon there. Now, what are the coordinating conjunctions? For, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. These are the examples of coordinating conjunctions. Now let's look at the example sentences. Zabir is a very hardworking person, comma, but he is never punctual. Or we may say, he is a very hardworking person and he is honest as well. Two independent clauses are connected by a coordinating conjunction. Here we are using a comma. We are not using a semicolon. Remember, a semicolon is used to create connection between two independent clauses or sentences that are closely related. Don't use semicolon if the two sentences are not connected or don't share similar ideas. For example, I am passionate about music. Semicolon, my class teacher is vigilant. This is a wrong use of a semicolon. We should not use a semicolon here because these two sentences, they don't share similar ideas. So we cannot use a semicolon here. That is all about where to use a semicolon and where not to. I'm sure after watching this video, you will never get confused about the use of semicolon. If you want to get more videos like this, do subscribe our channel, ESL Advice. Thank you so much.